Have you ever had one problem in your city that feels like it should be easy to fix, but no matter what you do, it just refuses to go away? That's basically where we're at right now. This commercial demand bug is completely breaking the way this city is supposed to grow. So today, I'm going to show you how to fix any demand issues permanently, whether that be commercial or office, and I'll give you my secret sauce early. We're going to grow our population as fast as possible, fix every major resource deficit we have, and if none of that works, I've got one more secret special move up my sleeve that might completely change everything. Let's finally fix commercial demand. Maybe. Alright, to get started, let's expand our population. And what I really love about this is we have the perfect DLCs in order to do it. So let's just throw down the Grand View Heights, and we're going to place that right here. And honestly, it just fits so well. And we do have the Lighthouse Point, but we want to make sure we're giving some separation, that way it's not too overwhelming. So we'll place this building on that corner right there. We're going to need a road that runs to the side of this building, but given how dense this is, I really don't think 4 lanes is going to be enough. What I really want to do is make sure that we're planning for the future, so let's grab this 8-lane divided road, and we're going to snap right to the side of the building and pull that in. There we go, that is perfect. And there's a few hills over here, but we're not going to worry about it. We just want to make sure that we're connecting this into our 4-lane, and we're going to keep all the traffic lights because it makes sense. This magnificent building called Grand View Heights, it can hold 5,000 households, which should roughly equal out to 10 or 15,000 residents. Let's add on the downtown hospital, and if we want the disease control center, we're going to have to unlock it. Given how dense this area is going to be, I think this is going to be really important. I am worried we only have 82 development points, and there's a lot of things that I've been saving these for. Once we hit 100, something special happens, but also at the same time, we really need the disease control center. So we'll unlock it, and then we'll add on our upgrade. And this really just went from mediocre to next level. Look at that. It's honestly just beautiful. Next up, we're going to need a small shopping center to serve all these people. I know we don't have commercial demand, but I feel like if we just place a few of these in, eventually something should spawn in. And I know what you're thinking, he's placing the same building over and over again. But if we use our imagination, we can just pretend that each of these are something different. Interestingly, they all have a company, and I believe that's because the signature building forces it to spawn in. Next up, we're going to need some parking. Actually, what we need first is an access road. So we have this back alley right here, and this is really going to be the best spot to do some... What is that van doing? It's magnificent. I love it. I absolutely love it. Anyways, like I was saying, this is going to be the absolute best spot to place our parking, and we'll run our alleyway back here. We won't connect into our expressway, mostly just because I'm too lazy to make a supernode, but it's fine because we don't really need it. Now let's throw down a few parking lots. We don't want to go overboard here, but we do want to make sure that our shoppers have the right parking opportunities available to them. And to provide dual access, we'll connect this into our 4-lane road, and that's just perfect. I love it. Now what this area is really missing is an arena, and I want to get that placed somewhere in the water. Let's say right about here. And we're going to wrap this building with a pedestrian road. And don't worry, we're going to solve that issue. Just give us 1 second. We have to set this to ground level though, because I don't want a key wall just yet. Now we're going to grab all of this, and we'll set it all to be the same height as this node right here. Perfect. Wait, now it's perfect. We are going to need road access though. So we're going to take this 2-lane perpendicular parking road. We'll snap onto the side of this pedestrian road. And that was a misclick, but I think it came out pretty nicely. Let's just match that on this side. And wow, these towers are suffocating. Can you move, please? Now let's throw on the parallel mode, and we'll set that to 0.25 units. And we're just going to make sure we have a great amount of parking opportunities available. Unfortunately, there's a few weird things happening with the side of our roads, so let's just upgrade this to be a 2-lane. And there we go. Perfect, perfect. Now this stadium is going to draw a lot of traffic, so we need a high capacity road to make sure that we're dealing with all of it. And actually, right here, we can make this connection from our 8-lane into a 6-lane, and then directly into our waterfront. And I know it's a little bit rough right now, but just wait until the end, because it's going to look amazing. And what we really need is to solve our resource deficits. So we have a deficit in wood, grain, vegetables, textiles, oil, metal ore, coal, and stone. Let's start at stone, and we'll work our way up. And looking at this hill, this is going to be the best place to really get the stone mining operation done. So let's place in our main building there. And now we need to drag out the surface, and we're going to cover the entirety of our remaining tile. And we really don't want to get too close to our train tracks, and that's just because stone mining can actually disrupt the train. And I was doing that the wrong way. Let's try this again. So yeah, we want to make sure that we have a really nice healthy space in between our train tracks and our stone mining operations. And our transformer line is currently in the surface, but during detailing we're going to get all of that cleaned up. Now the biggest thing about stone mining is that it generates a lot of traffic. So we're going to use this 3-lane one-way road. We'll start by snapping to the side of the building, then we're going to pull this all the way down. And again, we don't want to interrupt our train tracks. So let's go up 20 meters, and that should really give us enough clearance. And oops, I have ground mode on. Let's turn that off. Now we'll bridge over, and we need to start dropping our slope down. So we'll do something like that. And now we're just going to make a small little interchange here. This is great and all, but we're still missing our connection in. And part of me kind of wishes that I used the parallel tool when I made this. Wait. We have the parallel tool from Network Multi-Tool. Let's try this out. Oh, this is amazing. How do I swap the side? Yeah, this is perfect. This is literally perfect. Let's create the parallel network, and then we just need to chop off this section, and then connect in our road. And let's make sure that we're reversing this. And wait a minute, what happened here? That's not parallel. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to do this the manual way. And really, the reason why I like using mods is just because I'm way too lazy. Now let's swap the direction, and we need to get rid of this little point right here. Now this should be fully operational. I'm really excited to see how much stone this produces. Let's double check to see what our deficit is again, and it's 702 tons. I figure this is at least maybe 50 or 60 tons. And I would think wrong. This is actually 419 tons. But it's still not enough to get us to where we need to be. So let's buy these 3 tiles right here, and then we're just going to expand our surface one more time. I figure with all the work we're doing, it's probably not too big of a deal if we really just start chopping down some of this mountain. And if this doesn't solve our deficit, I have no idea what will. Now, funny enough, when you look at it with the contour lines on, it doesn't look too bad. But once we turn them off, you start to wonder where the hill is. I honestly can't tell. The only way you could figure it out is to get really close. So what I'm thinking we should do is we should take one of these pebble surfaces by Gaga and make sure that we cover the entire mountain. And I seem to have lost the point of where it starts. Oh, there it is. No, there, no. Okay, I broke it. Let's try this again. Again, I unfortunately lost where that point is. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. And you just need to get really close. Complete area. Nice. That is such an improvement. It really helps define the texture and makes it pop out way more. And now we're producing 600 tons per month. Does that solve our deficit? Our deficit is 609 tons. Let's give this a bit of time to simulate and hopefully it'll catch up. Wait, it said 609. Boom. We solved our deficit. That's it, we're done. Now show me that update in the production tab. The great thing about the production tab is that it's extremely accurate, but you need to give it some time to simulate. Next up, we have a 60-ton deficit in wood, and this is going to be really easy. What you can actually do is just take the grid tool and drop the spacing all the way down, and we'll also make sure that we have old trees on, and then all we have to do is fill these areas with trees. Although be warned, this is a bit rough on your GPU. I don't know about you, but I personally run this game off of two 5090s, and I know crossfiring is a bit outdated technology, but I used AI in order to get Crossfire and SLI to work. If you don't get what I'm talking about, then you need to read a book. And this is going to be such a massive improvement. And we are covering the main buildings with trees, but it shouldn't matter because those should be the first trees that they cut. And these oak trees have 2,000 wood, which means we should be in a really good place now. No, somehow our deficit has actually went up. I'm going to turn the simulation speed down to 2 times before I burn my CPU. And I guess while we wait for this one to catch up, let's handle grain. For grain, what we're going to do is start building some farms right alongside this highway. So that means we're going to need a small grid here. Now, dirt roads are really popular in the US, so that's what we're going to base our grid off of. And we're just going to do something like this. And I have accidentally set all of these roads to be bridge mode. Amazing. And now we're just going to delete some of these extra pieces. And now what we have is one giant grid for our farm. Let's make sure we buy the tiles. I wouldn't want to forget or anything. And these farms create a lot of heavy traffic. So we're going to use a one-way, and we're going to wrap around right here and then connect that back in. And to make sure that people can turn around, we'll provide that opportunity right here. This way, if you're traveling down the road, you drive around this little section right here, but you missed your stop. So now you can turn left and loop back around. Anyways, let's place one grain farm right here. And I probably should check to see if we even have the resource available. And no, we don't. I feel like there's a way to find that resource painter in dev mode. And I have no idea where to find it, so this was a waste of time. Instead, what we can do is place a grain farm right beside our landfill, and we'll just make sure to stretch that surface all the way out. And don't worry about the trees, again, we're going to handle that in detailing. This building doesn't seem to have water, power, or any utilities, and we want to make sure we're providing that. So let's connect this in. And apparently this isn't good enough. How about that? No, apparently that's not good enough. How about this? Actually, while we're over here, let's add in a few medium gravel parking lots. If you're coming to work in the farm, at the very least, you should have somewhere to park. Now, if I had to take a guess, this just isn't connected. Yeah, it's not. So we'll get this connected in. All right, will you work now? Perfect. How much grain are you going to produce? Right now it's 0.77 tons. We need way more than that. Listen, Mr. Pelican Biofuel, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. You have all this land, and you can only extract 7 tons of grain per month? That's pathetic. We do have some space up here by Cherrytown, though. So we'll come back during detailing to get all this cleaned up. Actually, you know what we can do? If we just grab our trees, turn off anarchy, and increase our brush size, we can probably get something half decent looking here. There we go, that's not too bad. Now show me the production. No, apparently we're at 220 ton grain deficit. Amazing. What about our stone? Are we there yet? No, we still have 121 deficit of stone. I mean tons, 121 ton deficit of stone. So you're telling me all of this still wasn't enough. This bad boy produces 642 tons of stone. Yeah, that's reasonable, I guess. And wow, our population is really just skyrocketing. Anyways, next up, we need to solve oil. So let's get that done. Surely we have some offshore oil up here. And no, unfortunately we don't. It seems like our only oil is either all the way back here, or it's all the way in the heart of our city. Commercial demand comes first, so do businesses. We have tons of new homes in our skyscrapers. I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal if they move there. I know some people are going to be a bit mad, but it should be something that we're able to work through. So let's get our main oil building placed in right here. And let's just make sure this covers the entire surface. Did I say surface? I meant the entire plot. Now, how much oil is that going to give us? It says 452 tons. Not too bad. What was our deficit again? 715 ton was our deficit. We're going to need to do a little bit more expansion. There we go. 820 tons. We have done it. Amazing. Let's add this road back in though. I really don't want to have to get rid of any houses if we don't have to, and it doesn't seem like we do. Now, trees are a fire risk within oil fields, so let's make sure we clear all of these out. And unfortunately, there's a few routes that are breaking. In the future, we're going to have an episode dedicated to fixing transit, so let's try not to worry about it too much. But look at all these people. What are they running from? Why are they running? Oh, they're all coming to work at the oil factory. That's great. Well, this place only has 4 employees. So it looks like there might be a battle royale to see who gets a job. And trust me, once you see the rent prices, you're going to need it. The next major deficit is going to be metal ore. So let's see, where do we have metal ore? Wait, we've unlocked the rocket fuel refinery? We got to place this in. Oh, this is perfect. Let's add this right beside our brand new industrial area. And that unlocks the chemical plant. Okay, perfect. Let's add this in right on this road right here. And while we're here, we might as well add on the switch on and the fuel plant. So our fuel plant has 18 jobs. The switch on has 16. And the chemical plant also has 16. I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I've never worked at a chemical plant, switch on, or a fuel plant, so I don't really know. But if you could let me know in the comments whether or not those numbers make sense, that would be very much appreciated. What were we doing again? Right, stone. Or to be more specific, metal ore. With our ore view on, we can see that we have most of our ore down here. Honestly, it's a great spot. Let's add in the ore mining right near our industrial. And we're going to make sure to fill this entire space. Actually, wait, that's 1.25 kilotons. What's our deficit again? It's only 338 tons, so this is perfect. We don't even need to go any further. And we're going to add our coal mine right here. Again, we want to make sure that we're giving ample room from the coal mine and the train tracks. Mining is very disruptive, very loud. There's the risk of things caving in, so we just want to be very mindful of that. Now this is going to give us 1.3 kilotons, so we're in a really good spot. And with wood, we have a 4.6 ton surplus, amazing. Grain, we have a 297 ton surplus. Livestock, 728 tons. Fish, who cares? Vegetable, who cares? Cotton, who cares? Crude oil, we're still not doing too well. The game needs a bit more time to calculate the metal ore. Same thing with the coal. But for stone mining, we're only at 40.79 tons of a deficit. And I really want to solve this today. So let's just do all of our expansion right now, right here. We can get caught up in all the nitty-gritty of making this look pretty later on. And that gives us the nanopolymer synthesis unit. I don't even know what that is. And because I don't understand it, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, we now have an area size of 49,000 cubic meters. And wow, we just keep unlocking all of these. Where is it? The blast furnace? Sure, let's place it in right here. Is that everything? No, we also have this, and I think that should be good enough for now. And would you look at that? We've hit milestone 19. We're now a massive metropolis. There's only one more milestone to go. And I don't know if you know this, but once you hit Megalopolis, there's something really, really special that happens. It's honestly really cool. Either way, now that we've solved every single one of these deficits, it's time to move on to something bigger and better. And that's going to be a whole bunch more industrial. That's because if we're going to be harvesting all of these natural resources, we want to make sure we're using all of them as well. The money is not in the pure natural resources. Can you go away while I'm trying to speak? Holy. Like I was saying, the money is in the manufacturing of turning those into goods. And we have our little stream area right here. What I'm thinking we could do is just zone all of this out, and that didn't work. What I'm thinking we could do is just zone all of this out. Wow, we are just unlocking every signature building at this point. But now our demand has completely crashed. It says there's unoccupied buildings, so let's go find them. Right, our storage center. That's fine. We can just delete this, because who cares about the tens of hours that you put in to build something? Is that all of them? Yeah, that seems like all of them. But nope, unoccupied buildings still, so let's open up Info Loom, and let's go to Industrial menu and we'll open up our demand. And we have 0 unoccupied buildings, but we have 18 companies that don't have a property. Let's stimulate all of our demand. We're going to drop our tax all the way down. We're losing $791,000 per hour, so this isn't sustainable long term, but for the short term, we can really boost up our demand. Actually, why don't we extract more from the people? So we'll go 12% for everyone, equality, and apparently that brings us to negative 1 million per hour, which means we only have 8.5 hours to get everything fixed. I don't think that's impossible. Now things are looking a little bit chaotic, and especially the traffic over here, it's insane. Which means we probably need to widen up some of these lanes. Let's throw 8 lanes all the way through, and we're gonna carry that all the way down right to this point. Oh wait, the tunnel, we can't break the tunnel. So the tunnel will remain 6 lanes, but after that, we're going full 8 lanes. There we go, this is really gonna help push that traffic through. We don't wanna be too reactive though. We have a bunch of people moving in, a bunch of trucks coming in to pick up our resources, so this traffic should only be temporary. Now since the last time you saw me, it's been about 12 hours, and I really just wanted to make sure everything had enough time to simulate. Unfortunately, we still don't have any commercial demand. In fact, we barely have residential demand. For the industrial, apparently it's unoccupied buildings. I looked and I couldn't find a single one. Same thing with office, I couldn't find a single one. With commercial, it's just local demand. People don't feel like buying things these days. For our residential, it's going to be our taxes and our unoccupied buildings. Again, I spent 12 hours going through every single building to check to see if they were unoccupied, and I couldn't find a single one. So maybe what the city needs is another 15 to 16 hours worth of simulating. So I'll be right back. All right, it's been 15 to 16 hours, and yeah, it's really still not improving. So at this point, I just don't know what to do. I think the only option we have left is just to start a brand new city, and this time we're gonna make it European, and we're also gonna make it a utopia, where everything is perfect, everyone has amazing services, and everyone has perfect transit. So with that, I'll see you in the next city. Oh wait, detailing. For detailing, what we're gonna do is we're gonna expand our brush size all the way to 1,000. We'll select these 3 trees, and we're just gonna spray and pray. And I didn't realize how much money we were spending, but look at this. This is pretty much peak city at this point in time. Not only do you have so many great places to live, but you also have so much green space. Or kind of green space, you have a bunch of trees everywhere. And to make it even better, our fire coverage is actually really strong, which is gonna be important, because if even one of those trees catches fire, this entire city is gonna burn down. All right, now I'll see ya in the next European city, which will be a utopia.